I'm still not able to hear you, Montgomery. So what I'd like you to do is just check to make sure your microphone is on. In order to do that, go to the bottom of your screen, look at the left-hand side. You should see an orange wrench. Go ahead and click on that wrench. That's going to open up something that says camera settings, microphone settings, and notification settings, I think. You're going to click the one that says microphone settings. And make sure that you have the microphone you want to be talking through. For example, if you have a headset, mine says USB headset. So go ahead and try one more time. I also, on my microphone, have a little button here with a red light that I can push to mute myself. Make sure you're not muted for some reason. All right, everyone. Well, welcome to week 8 of Solar System. I'm very excited that we are here today. My cat seems to be bugging me for a second, so let's move her out of the way. Today we have a very interesting, yes, it is my cat. Today we have a very interesting topic. We are going to talk about meteors, asteroids, and comets. And I'm also going to let you guys go on camera if you want and talk about your projects you did last week. I got 3 from class. I got one on Mars, one on Jupiter, and I believe one on Pluto. So if you want to join and share your presentation with us, you are, and yes, Carlisle, and I got yours too. I would love to hear you guys give your little presentation. So Carlisle, you want to share yours. So Carlisle, I'm going to let you go first. Montgomery, if you have a question, if you could just hold it until after Carlisle goes. And if you don't want to share yours, that's perfectly fine. You do not need to share your projects. So I'm going to turn my camera off. Carlisle, if you can go ahead and turn yours on, that would be fantastic. And then you can go ahead and talk about your outer planet.
Fun fact about Uranus. Uranus was discovered in 1781 by William Herschel. Uranus is the 7th planet from the Sun, and it is 1,050,000,000 miles from the Sun. Uranus is the 3rd largest planet in the solar system. Uranus has 22 moons and 11 rings. Fact 5. Uranus gets its blue color from the methane in its atmosphere. Uranus rotates on its side, and this is different from all other planets of the solar system. Some astronomers refer to Uranus and Neptune as ice giants. The assumed internal structure for Uranus is a core of rock, a mantle of ice, the outer layer of gas, hydrogen, and helium. The atmosphere of Uranus is composed of 83% hydrogen, 15% helium, and 2% methane. Time on Uranus is very different from time on Earth. A day on Uranus is 17.9 hours on Earth, and a year on Uranus is 84.07 Earth years. Uranus is the only plant that has a name that comes from Greek mythology instead of Roman mythology.
Awesome. Thank you, Carlisle, for sharing with us. You did a great job. You guys are getting much more confident when you are talking on camera. So it's a great opportunity for you guys to be able to practice your speaking skills or delivery skills, as well as share the awesome research that you have done. Would anyone else like to share their projects from last week? Remember, I'm not going to make anybody share any projects, but would anyone like to share their project? All right, fantastic. Well, we have something different to talk about this week. We've talked about the planets. We've talked about how to get to space. We have talked about telescopes and how scientists study space. But we haven't talked about everything else in space. Like there's planets, which is great. But what else is there? Montgomery, go ahead. Your microphone still doesn't seem to be working, Montgomery, so you're going to have to type it in the text chat. Besides planets, besides the sun, besides moons, besides like the International Space Center and man-made satellites, what else is up in space? Carlisle, go ahead.
There are asteroids and comets in space, too.
Awesome. There's asteroids and comets in space. Alexandria, do you have something to add to that? I missed what you said. Make sure you hit the talk button and then wait a couple of seconds so that we can hear you. So go ahead, Alexandria. Go ahead, Alexandria. Just make sure you hit your talk button and pause for a minute. Can you hear me now, Alexandria? I didn't hear you, so you have to pause for a couple of seconds after you hit the talk button before you actually start talking. Okay, what we are going to do is asteroids and comets are definitely things, for lack of a word, up in space that we have not talked about yet. Something else we haven't talked about yet that's up in space are meteors. So I'm going to pull up my whiteboard here, and I would like you guys to brainstorm things in space. Oh, don't write up there yet. You don't even know what I'm going to ask you guys. You're a step ahead, whoever's writing the C. And I want you guys to tell me what the difference is, or what characteristics, or what you know about meteors, asteroids, and then we're going to put comets in a long box at the bottom, or comets. So you should be able to write on the whiteboard. And anything you know, I want you to go ahead and put up in one of these boxes for me. So we're going to brainstorm for about 3 minutes. So go ahead and brainstorm.
What's a brainstorm?
You're just going to come up with ideas or anything that you know about meteors, asteroids, or comets. So for example, maybe you know that there's a comet called Halley's Comet. So you're just going to take and you're just going to write it up here. All right, whoever's drawing up top, if we could stop drawing, that would be fantastic. You guys have 1 more minute to come up with any ideas. Go ahead, Victoria. Do you have a question?
Yes, I do. I was wondering, I've always had this question for a very long time. Is comets for us, like, I've always wondered, is it a shooting star or are those two different things? Because I've always thought, like, maybe there was a connection between them, like a comet, but we would see it as a shooting star. I don't know. I've always had a question about that.
That is an awesome question, and I'm not going to answer it right this second, but I am going to answer that question in class today. So, awesome question. Looks like you guys came up with some great ideas up here. I'm not going to tell you what's right and what's wrong, so we're going to get to that at the end. But this is a good brainstorm or a good thought about what's right and what meteors, asteroids, and comets are. First, we are going to look at meteoroids or meteors. Now, these actually are 2 different things. So the first thing I want to ask is, what is a meteoroid? Well, you guys just gave me your best guesses as to what a meteoroid is. Some are right, some are not so right. Here is a picture of a meteoroid, and that should give you a little bit of a hint as to what a meteoroid is. A meteoroid is a small piece of rock or piece of debris in our solar system. Now, the size of this piece of rock, or piece of debris can be anywhere from the size of dust all the way up to about 10 meters in diameter. Now, 10 meters is about 30 feet, so that's going to be just about 4 or 5 cars put next to each other. Victoria, go ahead.
So, I can tell by the title, or the name of it, is it a cross between a meteor and an asteroid? Or something like collided that way?
That's a very good guess. Actually, a meteoroid and a meteor are two closely related things in space. And an asteroid is similar, different in size. The main difference between an asteroid and a meteoroid is size. And the main difference between a meteoroid and a meteor is where they end up. So first we're going to look at these meteoroids. And they're the size of a piece of dust up to 10 meters in diameter. And they can travel at speeds of up to 26 miles per second. So here we have meteor versus meteoroid. Does anyone want to volunteer to read the meteor part of this, the first column? Victoria, go ahead.
Meteor burns up as it passes through the Earth's atmosphere. You might see a streak of light or shooting star. What you are seeing is a meteor.
Very good. So a meteor burns up as it comes through the Earth's atmosphere. This is the shooting star that you were talking about, Victoria. If you're looking up at the night in the sky, most of the times it has to be somewhere dark, somewhere not in a city that makes it really hard, somewhere not where there's a lot of street lights. And if you see a streak of light or a shooting star, what you are actually seeing is a meteor. Now, what is a meteoroid? Anyone want to read this side for me? Carlisle, go ahead.
A meteoroid is a meteoroid that survives going through the Earth's atmosphere. It glides with the Earth's surface.
Very good. So a meteoroid comes through the Earth's atmosphere and actually hits the Earth's surface. Now, it may hit the Earth's surface in a continent. It might hit in the middle of my front yard. Or it may not hit the Earth's surface on land. It might hit surface in water, like the Atlantic Ocean, the Pacific Ocean. Here's a picture of what a meteor might look like across the sky. Okay, you can see all the stars in the background, but that streak of light right there would be the meteor. Marwin, go ahead.
What about a shooting star?
Well, a shooting star is a meteor that comes through the atmosphere of the Earth. And there's a picture of one right here for us all to look at. Now, hand or give me a smiley face if you have ever seen a meteor shower. Oh, we have a frown face. Raise your hand if you've ever seen a meteor shower. All right, some of you have and some of you haven't. So, fantastic. What we are going to do is we're going to talk about meteor showers, and then we are going to take a look, obviously on video, of a meteor shower. In meteor showers, what happens is many meteors occur in a close time frame in the same amount, or the same part, of the sky. So when you look up, instead of seeing like one shooting star, you might see 15, 20, or even hundreds of meteors or shooting stars in the atmosphere. During the course of a typical year, there are about 500 meteorites that reach the Earth's surface. But only about 5 of those ever make it to scientists to study. Now, who can come up with an idea of why some of these meteorites don't make it to scientists? Raise your hand if you have a guess. Why do some of these meteorites not make it to Carlisle? Go ahead.
Well, because some of them burn up in the atmosphere.
Okay, but a meteorite, some of them do burn up in the atmosphere, some of the meteors, but the actual meteorite actually do make it to the Earth's surface. So why do you think only 5 of them make it, scientists? Like, let's say one falls in the woods by your house. Are you going to give it to a scientist? Mohammed, go ahead.
They live in land in oceans.
Fantastic, Mohammed. Some of them land in the ocean. So if they land in the ocean, they're a piece of rock. They're going to sink to the bottom of the ocean, and scientists aren't going to spend a whole lot of time getting them bottom of the ocean. Maybe if one landed in your yard, do you think you're going to give it to a scientist, or do you think you might keep it because it would be pretty cool to have a meteorite? Alexandria, go ahead. Yeah, I think that some people might keep it. I agree. What else? Anyone else have an idea? Like, Montgomery said maybe it would land in the middle of the ocean. Or, I'm sorry, Mohammed. Where else could it land that a scientist wouldn't be able to get it easily? Anyone have any guesses? Mohammed, go ahead.
Or volcano. Or mountain.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you, Mohammed. Could you repeat that one more time, please?
Or volcano.
Very good. Could also land in places like Antarctica or the middle of a rainforest. All places that are hard to get to. And here is a picture of a meteor shower. Now we are going to take a look at a video of a meteor shower. Marwin, go ahead.
What if it landed on the other side on on the in the South Arctic?
Well, that's a good point. If it landed in the South Arctic, it would be very hard to get to. You're right. So let's take a look at a video of a meteor shower. That way, if you haven't seen a meteor shower, you'd be able to see one. So remember, to watch a video, we need to go to our whiteboard screen. You are going to click on the icon on the toolbar on the top that says Applications. And you should see something that says Meteor Shower. This video is about 1 minute and 20 seconds. You're going to watch it and then come back. Alexandria, do you have a question? Most meteor showers, I don't know that there's technically a place where more occur, but you're definitely more likely to see them somewhere where it is super dark and not near a city. It's just how the Earth is spinning on that particular day when that piece of rock is floating by in the outer space. So it's not that there is a particular time or place. So we are going to go ahead and watch the video. Marwin, when we're done with the video, I certainly can go ahead and I will answer your questions. So does everybody see? Go ahead and just answer this question. Does everyone see the video meteor shower? Go ahead and click yes once you are there. Remember, on the whiteboard screen, you have clicked the icon that says Application. On the top, it should be your last icon. And then you should say Meteor Shower. Mohammed, Marwin, do you see that? Do you see where it says Meteor Shower? All right, perfect. The rest of you can go ahead and click the meteor shower and take a look at what's going on. All right, I think we are all back. Would anyone like to describe, for those of you who weren't able to watch the video, what you just saw? Victoria, thank you.
It looked like a whole bunch of stars in the sky, like it was raining, kinda. Like it was raining stars or sparkles or whatever you want to see or whatever. But it was a very pretty sight, and at some points they were just dropping straight parallel, or not parallel, but straight from the sky to the earth, and then other times it was going in an arc, and then arcing to the right, and then it was a time lapse, so it went by very fast, but normally it wouldn't go that fast, but it was very pretty.
All right, Marwin, go ahead. And then Alexandria, you're next.
Where do meteors come from?
The meteors are just pieces of rock or other debris that are floating around the solar system. Alexandria, what did you want to share about the video? Very good. And Alexandria went ahead and typed it in the text chat. It definitely was a meteor shower over the ocean. And it definitely was really pretty. It was a time lapse so that you could see what was going on and see more meteors in a shorter amount of time, because a typical meteor shower would be way longer than the 2 minutes that we just watched. Typically, you might see on the news, oh, there should be lots of meteors within the next 3 days in our area. They typically last days rather than just a few minutes. Carlisle, I believe you had your hand up.
So I saw the meteor shower, and it was pretty cool. It was pretty awesome.
I agree, they are pretty awesome. And Mohammed, we will take our last comment from you. Go ahead, Mohammed.
You can go through you, or you can get. I like how the rainbows look.
Perfect. I like how they look too. I think meteor showers are great. And if you have the chance to stay up one night and see one for real in, I don't want to say real life, but in real life, they are pretty awesome in my opinion. What we are going to do now is we are going to take a look at asteroids and see what asteroids are. Alexandria, go right ahead. Well, if you see Alexandria's question, she said, why do people talk about meteors hitting the Earth and the world will end? Is that true? Let me see a show of hands if you think that that is true. Yes, I think it's true. Or no, I don't think it's true. A couple not so sure faces. Well, this certainly is a great question. And it definitely could happen if the right meteor and large enough meteor were to hit the Earth. However, chances are it won't. One of the reasons it won't is because as the meteors are going around in the solar system, they tend to be drawn to objects with more gravity and with a larger gravitational pull. lucky for us, the Earth is not the planet with the largest gravitational pull. It actually is Jupiter. So a few years ago, I believe it was 2011, so 4 years ago, a large meteor did crash into Jupiter, and it did make a little mess over there. However, Jupiter is kind of like a vacuum cleaner for us, at least in space, and it kind of takes all of that stuff away. Now, the other reason is that you're right. Astronomers are constantly watching the Earth's sky and what's going on around us in space. So they would try their very best to get those meteors away from us. Yes, Marwin, the sun is a star. So let's go ahead and take a look at asteroids and comets. So what is an asteroid? Well, I put a picture up here, but guess what? This picture looks a lot like the picture that I had up here of a meteor. So we're going to have to do a little bit of research. If you guys could hold your questions for a minute, I want to make sure that I get through this entire PowerPoint today so that what you have to do tonight is going to make sense. So I will certainly answer your questions at the end of class, but if you could just hold off on them for a minute, that would be great. So what is an asteroid? Would anyone like to read this slide for me? Victoria, go ahead.
What is an asteroid? Small solar system bodies that orbit the sun. Asteroids are similar to comets, but do not have a visible tail like comets. Asteroids are also known as planetoids or minor planets. Vary in 6 from 10 meters to 100 of kilometers.
All right, great job. And you know what? Asteroids are small solar systems, bodies that orbit the sun. That second one that you read says asteroids are similar to comets, but do not have a visible comma. And then I wrote tail. What scientists call the tail of a comet is a comma. Asteroids are also known as planetoids or minor planets, and they vary in size from 10 meters to hundreds of kilometers. Now, if we think about this, we just said that a meteoroid was from dust up to 10 meters. So basically, an asteroid is just a large meteoroid. In the solar system, there is something called an asteroid belt. The asteroid belt is located between Mars and Jupiter. And here is a picture of the asteroid belt. The size of the objects in the asteroid belt range from the size of dust to dwarf planets. So, a dwarf planet. We talked a little bit about Pluto just in passing last week. And Pluto is a dwarf planet. Scientists believe that there could be as many as 50 dwarf planets. Okay, we are going to talk about the 5 named dwarf planets. The first named dwarf planet is Eris, and Eris has 1 moon. here's a picture of Eris. What I want you guys to do when we talk about these planets is their actual names aren't all that important, but I want you just to look at them and look at the picture of them so we can compare them. Next, we have Pluto. Pluto looks a little bit like Eris. It has some features on it. Pluto has 5 moons. These are the 2 largest. Eris is the largest. Pluto is the second largest. Then there is Haumea. Haumea is an elongated shape. It looks more like an egg than what I would think of as a typical planet. Makemake is the next dwarf planet. Makemake is on the left-hand side here, and it appears to look like our moon. And the last one is Ceres. Ceres is actually in the asteroid belt, and it was first spotted all the way back in 1801, but it was named and officially discovered in 2006. So what is a comet? Victoria, just hold on 1 minute. Once I get to the end, I promise I will answer all of your questions. What is a comet? Well, a comet is an asteroid that when it's close to the sun, it displays a visible comma. And that tail is the comma. And you can see that tail because of solar radiation. That tail is made of dust and ice, just like the rest of the comet. Now raise your hand if you have ever heard of Halley's Comet. Perfect. Halley's Comet is the most, I don't know if it's famous or the most well-known, I guess would be the better word. And it appeared in 1986. And the next time Halley's Comet will be visible to the naked eye on Earth is in 2061. So you guys will probably be about between 60 and 70 years old. And you could say, oh, way back when I was in school, we learned about Halley's Comet. And you can go and see out in your yards Halley's Comet. Halley's Comet is no different than any other comet, except it is brighter, so it is easier for you to see. Okay, so there were some of you that had some questions. So, Marwin, I think you were one of them, so go ahead. What is your question?
Hey, I just saw you! Hey!
All right, guys, you have to remember when I turn your microphones on that we can hear everything that's going on. So if you're in a loud room, it's probably not the best time to be talking. Anyone else have a question? Victoria, go ahead.
I know where Eris, the dwarf planet, is located, or I've seen it on a picture. But where are the other dwarf planets? I know you said one of them is in the asteroid belt. And also my other question was, is it true that Pluto and Eris are separated by another asteroid belt? Because I saw that and I read about it, but I wasn't quite sure. Because I wasn't sure. I just wanted to see if that was true.
I'm not really sure if Pluto and Eris, let me go back there, if Pluto and Eris are separated by an asteroid belt, but I know that Eris and Pluto are near each other. I know that Ceres is in the asteroid belt, And as for the other two, I'm not exactly sure where they are located, but I can go ahead and I will find a picture, and we can look at that next week. But they definitely are in our solar system. Mohammed, I believe you had a question. Did you have a question, Mohammed?
I heard it too. I saw you were one.
Alexandria, did you have a question? Marwin, it's too hard to hear. There's too much noise going on in your room, so it's too hard to hear you. You can go ahead and type the question if you have a question. Is there an end to space? That's a great question. There really is not an end to space. There is an end to our solar system, but our solar system is only one of the many solar systems out there. So that's kind of a good question. There is no end to space, but there is an end to our solar system. So there's a couple of people who came in late that said they wanted to present their projects from last week, so we're going to do that. But we are also going to talk about your final class. Your final class is next week. What you are going to do for homework for your final class is you are going to come up with a 2 to 5 minute presentation. And this is going to go up into Moodle, so no need to rush to write it down. A 2 to 5 minute presentation where you are going to pick any topic about space. You can talk about a specific planet. You can talk about Halley's Comet. You can talk about a specific astronomer. You can talk about the International Space Center or astronaut spacesuits. Any topic you want. And you are going to do some research and come up with a 2 to 5 minute presentation. So basically, you're going to teach class for 5 minutes. And you're going to teach us about whatever you want. So what that means is that you are going to have to send me ahead of time any of the information that you want me to put in. For example, if you have a picture, you are going to have to send it to me ahead of time. Up in Moodle, you can just attach it, and then I will load it up into class for you. I will turn your cameras on if you want, and you can hold a picture up if you want. Like if you have a picture on, let's see what I have a picture of here. So I have, my daughter's math book here. If I had pictures of something that I wanted to show you, I could say, oh, look, today we're working on time. Okay, but you're obviously going to be working on something with space. Or if you want to send me a PowerPoint, you can go ahead and send me a PowerPoint and I will upload that so that you can share with us. Anyone have a question? Marwin, go ahead.
Every planet moves around the sun because of gravity, right? One diesel looks boring to this.
Yes, all the planets move around the sun. Very good. Anyone have any questions on the homework project? All right. Well, I know that Victoria wanted to do her presentation. So, Victoria, I'm going to turn my camera off. I'm going to turn your camera on. And you can, if you have a question, you can ask it now, or you can share your presentation. Go right ahead. We can't hear you. Make sure you turn on your microphone.
I wish I had more facts about the planet I was doing, but I just got home from a family reunion and there was no access to a computer, but whatever. So let me get my facts really quick. I did the planet about Uranus because it's always interested me. Number 1 is that Uranus' atmosphere is about 83% hydrogen, 15% helium, 2% methane. Yeah. So for that. Number 2, Uranus has only been visited once by only one spacecraft, Voyager 2, on January 24th, 1986. Number 3 is that Uranus is a gas planet, which some people might know, some people might not. Number 4 is that there are only 24 named moons of Uranus so far, I think. I'm pretty sure that this is something. And number 5 is that it does have rings. I'm not quite sure how many, but Uranus does have rings, and it is a bluish color because it is very cold. So, yeah.
All right, great job. Thank you very much, Victoria. Fantastic. Anyone else that I missed at the beginning of class who would like to share their presentations with us today? No? All right, well, perfect. Well, remember, 5 minutes, you're going to be the teacher next week. You're each going to take a turn being the teacher. Yes, Mohammed, you surely can. I'm going to turn your camera on and mine off, and go right ahead.
Is the seventh planet from the sun. It is not visible with a naked eye, and became the first planet discovered with the use of telescope. Venus is the coldest planet. Venus is the coldest planet. It is known as the ice giant. It is the ice giant. 1 year on Venus is equal 84 years. 84 years on Earth. It was discovered by Sir William Herschel in 1781. Thank you, bye.
All right, fantastic. Thank you very much, Mohammed. Anyone else want to share theirs? If you are not going to share a presentation next week, although I would encourage you all to, please at least write something up so that I can share it with the rest of the class. Like I said earlier, you all are getting so much better and seemingly so much more confident going on to the cameras and sharing your work with us. It's great to be able to share your work and let us all learn about whatever topic you have learned about. So that's all I have for us today. I'm going to put the assignment up in Moodle and all of these PowerPoints for you. I hope you have a fantastic week. If you have any questions on your final project, please feel free to give me a call. Bye-bye, everyone.